take that sort of abuse?
I think you probably just get used to it after a while. That is not an everyday thing. I mean, just one of those things, you come up against it. You see how quickly the police respond. There's 2 units here. They're there to back us up, and that's what they do.
That guy was really abusive to you. And
yeah, very abusive.
Listening to you.
No, not the slight. I don't know. I think probably after a while, you get used to the situation a little bit more, which is probably not always a good thing.
Despite the man having been verbally abusive to a PCSO, the officer decides to let him go.
Shut up!
Right,
come on.
This lady's taking you away from the scene,
right? Come on, shirt now, knob, come on.
Right,
no,
go that
you're going to get nicked in a minute. Oi, you're going to get nicked in a minute.
He's not allowed
that, you should have been nicked for that. That is wrong.
PCSOs have none of the powers of a police officer, yet there's very little difference in cost. Figures uncovered by Tonight show that for the same cost as 10 PCSOs, Paula's force could employ 8 police officers, and a police officer would have the power to arrest.
Surely one of the toughest things of your job is that criminals don't respect you. They see you as plastic policemen. I mean, how do you deal with that on the street? I mean, this is a tough area.
No, not all criminals think of us as plastic police. There are obviously a few that do, but I mean, I get on quite well with some of, say, well-known criminals. You want to wait there, love?
No, I don't.
You need to wait there.
I'm not waiting anywhere.
Back on the beat, Paula tries to stop a woman wanted by police. In her attempt to escape, she abandons her 3-year-old child.
Coming back onto Nova's Lane, female, white female.
Oh, please don't.
You need to stand still, love. I'm going to catch you.
The woman failed to appear in court on a charge of shoplifting. With no powers of arrest, Paula must persuade her to stop and wait until an officer arrives to detain her.
She's wanted failing to appear.
The child she's abandoned is returned to her by a woman driving a mobility car. The girl was arrested.
Come here, we're there. Want to see my son?
Yes, yes.
Hi, darling.
Knoll West resident Carol Casey has some sympathies with the police.
With the amount of crime across this estate and other estates, they can't be everywhere. It has to go in priorities. And if you have somebody that's been stabbed, then that's going to be coming before a drug dealer. And people need to understand that on the estate.
So she's taking to the streets to encourage people to give the police more support.
Keep winding the police up, can you?
You watch them pull up to us, and you watch them pull up to us and say something to us first.
The police hand out fixed fines and cautions to troublemakers on the estate, but Carol has little faith it will solve the problems here, where some parents have little control over their children.
If your son was causing a problem and I came and spoke to you about your son, then you would take me in hand and try and do something about that.
Well, I couldn't promise I could say anything because he's a 17-year-old boy now, and he'd say, well, Dad, when you were 17, you know what I mean? That's when I was 17, I was in jail. You know what I mean? From more or less 16 to 21, I was in jail. You know what I mean? In and out for shoplifting, in and out.
Yeah.
And that's what he says to me, Dad. Most of my life you ain't been there for me, like, you know what I mean?
His son's best friend has just come off an ASBO.
I was put on an ASBO, pleaded not guilty to it because the CCTV didn't have enough of me of doing the terrors in the van, but they had my mate, so, and so we were both on ASBO.
All right. Keep your good work up. I will. Well done. Keep your good work up.
The police say crime figures are down in this area, but residents say those figures are based on when the police bothered to act. The local church couldn't get anyone out after an arson attack.
They sort of said, oh, you know, we can't come out, there's more important cases. In fact, they'd said there was 45 incidents within the Knoll West area at that time, and they have to prioritise which incident they go to, and ours was way down the list.
Has the crime ever made you think about shutting down this church?
Yes, very often. Our membership feel that, you know, it's a waste of time. It's cost us since July this year over £2,000 in repairs to roof, in guttering, in piping.
Just things that the thugs have smashed and taken?
Yeah, well, it's smashed or taken, yes.
For a lot of people, because when they hear that you can't arrest, they think, well, the criminals get away with it. How do you answer? Because a lot of people do think that.
Yeah, well, if you imagine that, obviously, we spend a lot of our time out on the streets. We get to know the youngsters, and you know, we probably know them by name. So even though if we see them committing a crime, even though we can't actually detain at that moment in time, we can obviously come back to the station, put a statement on, and they can be arrested at a later date. Can I just ask you a question? Why are you actually hanging around here?
What are you hanging around here?
Sorry? Did you just say jog on? Jog on? Are you for real? Listen, come on. This is a dispersal area, OK? You can't cause antisocial behaviour. Are you listening?
The government says that PCSOs are the eyes and ears of the police. But when we asked almost 3,000 of our viewers, half said that PCSOs did not make them feel any safer.
Because this is a dispersal area, you're causing antisocial behaviour.
In Monday's programme, police officers told us that the pressure to meet government targets is making it harder for them to lock up criminals. Those targets are designed to reassure us that crime is falling. But in our survey of viewers, almost 7 out of 10 of you thought crime was increasing. And that's not all.
Despite all the government reassurances, our survey found that 6 out of 10 people had been victims of crime. What's disturbing for both ministers and police is that a third of them were unhappy with the police response.
When you dial 999, you expect to see the police 10, 15 minutes. But for 2 hours, these youths were outside our house. And I told them I'd rang the police. They probably knew the police weren't going to turn up very quickly.
My daughter and her partner were abducted by a black cab driver from outside their home and taken on a journey that resulted in a very serious road traffic accident. We've had to hound them to take statements from both my daughter and her partner. We've had to chase for any information.
My son was out with his friends skateboarding, and on the first occasion they were attacked by a group of youths carrying knives. One of them actually threatened my son with the knife. I called the police at the time. They came along, took my son round with his friends to identify the youths. The youths disappeared on the police, and we've heard nothing since.
We felt totally let down because we were just left waiting for the police to arrive. And they never did until 4 hours later.
I have no trust in the police. I feel bitterly let down. The family feels very, very let down.